Okay, this is B Movie, starring Jerry Seinfeld, and not one scene does he say, "What's up with bees? I wanted so much."
What's the deal with bees?
right. I know. What's the deal with humans? I wanted that so bad, and I don't get it. All right.
We're going to talk today about B Movie, guys, and I'm going to tell you right now, this was one that was suggested by some viewers of ours, and since we're in Animation Month, we felt, okay, let's do this.
Yeah.
But let's do it right. Let's really embrace and talk about the weirdness that is B Movie. Because I'm going to say right now, spoiler alert, this is one of the weirdest movies I've ever seen. It was weird when I saw it back when it came out in 2007.
Still.
It's just as weird now.
Yeah. This is the first time seeing this.
Okay.
Right. And I was like, what?
Entering into it, I'm a huge Seinfeld fan. It's my favorite television series of all time. I will watch anything that Jerry Seinfeld gets invested in. And to know like the story about how this film became popular and how it kind of reemerged in 2016. We're going to get into all that, and it's going to be weird and wild, and we're not even really sure how we're going to place this one at the end, but definitely join us for B Movie. All right, welcome back to the show. I'm one of your hosts, Kyle Goethe from Goethe from Reviews.
I'm Nick from the St. Paul Filmcast, and you know what? Like, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your girlfriends, tell your boyfriends about the show. You can follow us on Instagram, on Twitter. You can contact us that way. Hey, if you want to continue content or you want to tell us what to do, check out the Patreon. Mm-hmm. Deals as low as $1, but you can go up and continue to tell us what to do. This is one of the movies that was suggested by us, B Movie, and this is the first time watching. What the hell is B Movie? I thought it was the letter B at first.
What's the deal with B Movie? When Barry B. Benson discovers his life's purpose is to make honey until he dies, he searches for a more meaningful path. When he ventures out of his hive, he meets Vanessa, a florist, and learns that humans have been taking advantage of bees and their honey for decades. Barry chooses the most human course of action, a lawsuit, in order to free his fellow bees from the tyranny of honey production. So the weird thing about this film was that it all came about as a joke between Jerry Seinfeld and Steven Spielberg, I guess.
No
Jerry
kidding.
was eating at Spielberg's house, and he said, what if you made a B movie that was like a B movie, but there was actually a bee in it? And he was just like, that was kind of his whole like shtick.
And then this really is a B movie.
And Spielberg was like, you should do that. That sounds good. Because Spielberg is always going to tell you to do something. He produced all the Transformers movies. So that's kind of the weird thing about this movie is that it came about like that. And even some of the most fun trailers as well. Because the first two trailers for this film were live action. And it was Jerry Seinfeld in a bee suit filming scenes from the movie on a set. And I think that's a really clever way to get adults to watch your movie. Yeah. Because I mean, the kids are going to say yes as soon as they see something like that.
But what do you do after a mega hit TV show? You have to have some fun. You can't hit lightning twice, right? You can't really capture lightning in a bottle twice. You got to have to do something that is just so far out there to get back to kind of work and have fun. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of a little mini Seinfeld reunion with this show. Spike Ferguson, who used to write for Seinfeld, is one of the writers of the show as well. So.
I think Barry Marder, who is another co-writer, did too. So it's three of them kind of coming together. And of course, Jerry show ran that show for 9 years. Like he did all 9 years, the last two by himself. So like he had plenty of practice writing for that show. But we also have kind of, the film came out, didn't do particularly well. Kind of disappeared.
Well, it compete with Ant Movie, right?
Yeah, well, there was the Bug's Life, there was Ants. I mean, and then we had the Ant Bully, which was a little bit closer to this one. So we've got plenty of those. Yeah. And there's always the Hollywood 2s, something's going to be popular. And of course, you were going to get me to watch B Movie because Jerry Seinfeld was involved. Yeah. But it also kind of and then it disappeared for a little while. We didn't really talk about it. It wasn't until 2016 that YouTube picked up this film and kind of ran with it. There was a video that came out. There was a lot of these kind of like film manipulation videos that would come out. And this one came out where the film they were going to show you B Movie, but it was going to get slightly sped up every time someone said B. And so it kind of became this weird thing too, where people would make videos of like the weird stuff that was very out of the ordinary in B Movie. Like there's just moments.
It should have gone away with all the world and pop culture.
Yeah,
it should have just gone away. But
pop culture created gifs. We created memes. We created weird videos of like things that didn't make sense. And I think that's kind of the definition of what B Movie is it's the weirdest kind of movie. I've never seen a movie before where you actually get a romantic style relationship between a bee and a human, and it's not even really it's not even like hinted at. It's not even like like Donkey and the Dragon from Shrek, where it's like that's weird but funny. This is just like very odd.
Just go with it, right? Yeah. This movie references The Graduate, not to mention a little bit like Metropolis, where you've seen a lot of those troops of just working yourself to death to work, and a little bit of The Graduate of who I want to be. In fact, you get his pool scene just like in The Graduate, of the parents interrogating him and he's a pool, and then he goes in the water so he doesn't have to hear him constantly talking about, instead of plastics, going and working for plastics, working for honey. Yeah. And this is a little bit of a little increment of what you see in Man of Steel.
Okay.
So
go on.
Well, like Man of Steel, like you're assigned a purpose in life, and that's their purpose in life. And then Man of Steel is a little bit like, well, Superman's going to go away. He's off the script.
Okay.
Flying off the codex, and this is a little bit like Barry's going to do.
I thought maybe you were going to say that there was like a Ray Liotta making honey thing in Man of Steel. I was like, maybe I got to watch that movie again because I don't remember that happening.
How did you sell this to Ray Liotta? I don't. This is. I would love to be in the board meeting. But you get this. I love the little sampling that Spike. I'm sure Spike put that in there for the sampling of other movies into this. Matthew Broderick is in this. Ferris Bueller is like the most centered.
Yeah.
Like if you had Ferris Bueller and doing voice, wouldn't you like go off a little bit? Wouldn't he be the Barry?
Probably, yeah.
Why work all day? But he wants to.
It's weird. It's weird that he's in there because I don't think I knew it was Matthew Broderick when I watched the film. And at that point, I was into film enough where I knew, like, where I would have noticed probably. But
complete opposite of Ferris Bueller. Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess that's kind of, it's more in tune with his producer's character. You know, the one who's kind of like stuck in like really like stuck in his place, and he's perfectly fine working the same job until he dies. He just needs a Bialystok, or in this case, a Barry, to pull him out from that. I like Jerry Seinfeld as a performer. I think he's very fine. I think his voice work is, strangely enough, I think it's better in this movie than his performance on Seinfeld.
Well, he's going to deliver.
Is kind of the weakest one because he's not the actor of the group.
He's going to deliver every of his lines like this. Like, hey, I'm doing good. How are you? Good. There's really no up and up. Unless he really starts shouting, but he delivers it constantly the same way. Which is, when you know that as a comedian that your delivery is the same, you have to have surrounding characters that amp it up. Yeah,
and again, that's the beautiful thing about it is that I do like Matthew Broderick in the film. I think John Goodman is solid as like the lawyer guy, and he doesn't even like hide from the fact that he's John Goodman. He's not trying to do a different voice. I think the best performer in the entire movie actually is Patrick Warburton, who plays the boyfriend Ken to Renee Zellweger.
Did they just give him a script, or did he just show up an audition in a tennis outfit and said, "We're going to use that as a trope"?
You got Putty and you got Joe from Family Guy, and he's just in there, and he is at this level the whole time, and I'm totally okay with it because he's us in the movie. I feel because he's us saying, "Why is my girlfriend interested in a bee?" Especially because I'm allergic. Like, let's break down Vanessa real quick.
What the hell, man? Right. Yeah.
I can't get over the Vanessa character because, again, like, I'm one of those people, if I can get a bug out of my house without harming it, I will.
I was told, this is the first, I thought she would have like a pet bee that she had around and like introduce her female pet bee to him.
Yeah.
That would make much more sense.
Yeah. Or even just like a comradeship where it's like friends. Why did they go this weird romantic angle? And again, it's kind of more weird romantic from Barry's side of things, but like Vanessa doesn't shy away from it. She doesn't feel that's weird at all. She's like, oh, it's fine. I'm just chatting with a bee. But like, why not just go the friend route with it? How often in movies do we have humans that like become friends with anthropomorphic animals? Like,
I don't know.
I don't understand. But here's the thing: if there was a bee in here while we were recording and you were allergic to bees, I would kill it. I'm sorry. Maybe you hate me for that, viewers, but. Why is she like okay with like let's protect the bee while my boyfriend is deathly allergic to them?
Yeah, I think Patrick Warburton probably like what? You came to audition like what the hell is this?
Yeah, I thought we were making a putty movie.
You just pulled him out of the gym class. Jim. He probably was playing tennis and he told him to come to the audition. Exactly. What the hell is this I'm doing? Mm-hmm. So yes, he's kind of like a voice. He's our barometer. Like what is going on?
He's the man shocked by everything going on.
This is stupid, right? This is absolutely stupid. Jerry Seinfeld's parents are Kathy Bates and
oh gosh, I don't remember who plays his father.
The heck with it.
But yeah,
just like this whole movie, the heck with it, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, they have this constantly. She's kind of doing like Adam Sandler's mom in that.
Once I knew it was Kathy Bates, I couldn't unsee the Water Boy.
Yeah, she's doing Water Boy.
Those humans are the devil.
Don't be out there. The world's gonna hurt you and everything. But it's ridiculous, and like I said, it doesn't work. But it's just so stupid and fun to watch.
Yeah, I think that's the thing about B movie is that I think unintentionally it's got a very B movie quality to it, where like most of the jokes don't really land the way that they should. There's funny things in there like that I snicker at, and I always kind of base my comedy stylings as like how often does my mouth actually open and I audibly say something. Because there are movies like I remember when I ranked other comedies like the movie Snatch, that movie that came out a couple years ago. I watched that and I was like, I gave it 2 Snickers because I just like, I didn't laugh when I wanted to laugh. And that's kind of the way it is here. I laughed more often, but it was kind of a groan-worthy laugh, which is like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's one of those like, what the hell?
Yeah, but there are jokes that worked in the movie. I thought the stuff on the windshield with Moose Blood played by Chris Rock. That kind of stuff where they're like, I thought that kind of riff-raff was pretty good. I like the playing with the fact that they went to college for 3 days and he's happy he took a day off in the middle to tour the Hive, you know, like it's the things that they life play out of life like that, you know.
All right, so he gets introduced to Renee Zellweger's character. I don't care what Vanessa, whatever her name is, but then he realizes after going to the store that humans manufacture honey or take it from them. And they sell it for and give it a profit, and they're gonna file a lawsuit and just mail it to the Supreme Court.
Yeah,
just mail their lawsuit to the Supreme Court. Yeah, we'll take up your case.
I don't think it's the craziest thing ever because we also did have in recent years we had Ted 2 where a stuffed bear fought for his ability to be considered a human in a court of law. So we have these weird kind of court case movies, and in a movie where no one questions a talking bee when it shows up.
No.
I feel like you can get away with this, and it's an interesting theme. It's an interesting moral to have. Is that, you know, like, yes, humans are taking the honey, but it's all part of that circle of life, and he comes to realize.
But it plays on all the courtroom movies we've seen, from Anatomy of Murder to The Mockingbird and everything, where it's all congested and confined, and the prosecutor is just centered red John Goodman. Southern man, and you know he's just I'm gonna win this case by showing how awful they are. You know,
yeah, I'm gonna make them the enemies.
Make them the enemies, and then they show their good sides and stuff. So it's really not by bringing your arguments; it's just the demonstrations.
Yeah, the best parts of that for me was when they embraced the silliness, and he brought Sting to the stand, and he brought Ray Liotta to the stand. Yes. I thought those parts were funny, and when they just kind of made fun of themselves, like. I felt like when the film was trying to be more serious or even just less self-referentially comedic, that's when it didn't work for me. It was when the film completely embraced its lunacy that worked at its best for me. Like that line, and I think I don't know if this line has aged very well, but where he's as a bee and he says, and we're letting ourselves be manufactured by honey by the white man, and then they cut over to the other guys and the one black guy scoots away. I think it's it was so lunacy that I just absolutely thought that part was funny. That part worked for me. But then it's when it tried to get serious that it didn't work as well for me. Like the ending with the plane, I didn't think was as funny. That's where you have Michael Richards in the cast then too. So it's don't ruin that.
So right, and you right. How do you rate? We're going somewhere. We have to go somewhere with this. So how do you the animation? You can do anything you want.
Yep.
But you want to do that stupid cliche in a rom comedy, which is always ends up at the airport for some reason. Always ends up at the airport for some reason, and it's going to be anxiety whether the plane's going to land or how you catch somebody before they leave the plane. But I think playing on the ridiculous, you had to go to the airport, right? I'm sure that's what happened in the writers' room. It has to go to the airport somewhere, and with flying and everything. So it's almost like a little bit of citing the movie Airplane a little bit.
That's what I was going to say. Is after talking about 2 airport movies and an airplane movie, the fact that we're ending a B movie with this too is a very strange place. And I almost feel like again. Embracing the lunacy and maybe even having a throw up to Airplane, maybe have that that score that have that play up to the fact that both the co-pilot and regular pilot are gone and we have to take this plane down. They're basically doing Airplane.
Well, they play the always expectation, but you flip it on everybody. Yeah, I saw when the plane land, they're gonna have just like you've seen all the other airplane movies, is just chaos in the fuselage and everything, and then you just realize that.
Yeah, all right, yeah, that's what I mean though. It's I felt like it was a very simple ending for what they do, whereas throughout the film, the parts where they embrace the silliness worked for me. But I think that also comes down to one of the major flaws with the film is that Jerry Seinfeld has never written an animated movie. Spike Fairstein has never written an animated movie. Barry Marder's never written an animated movie. So you've got 3 guys that have never dealt with again, animation is a style of making movie less than a genre, but it is still have, like, if you're aiming at a children's animation movie and you've got 3 Seinfeld writers who have never done anything of that sort, the movie kind of gets lost in who's this movie for.
Right.
Because it
makes
some
kids.
pretty adult jokes, it makes some pretty kiddie jokes,
Yeah.
but then, like, it kind of finds itself centered with, like, not pleasing anyone to the extent it should.
Right. And then how do you, because it's not just for kids.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, and adults are just going to be, I'm too beyond this.
Yeah.
So you don't really have a following. Also, the animation, you're working with the animation, and then you just have just scenes of them just walking.
Yeah.
Which, hey, that works well for a sitcom or something because you're winning with the dialogue and everything.
Yeah.
But with animation, you need to be dynamic. Like we talked with Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse. Even when it's talking, you have dynamic animation. And here it's just flat.
Animation you can do anything with. Yeah. So why would you choose to do anything simple? You know,
right, just walking down the corridor. Well, make it interesting as an animation. Obviously you need to get that out of the way, but make it about flying or something, or they're exercising or something.
I think that comes to a major difference between DreamWorks animation and like a Pixar.
Yeah,
is because again, like a Pixar would have found a lot of interesting ways to subvert around these kinds of silly points. I as much as I don't think this film needed an emotional core, would have had some sort of emotional core to it. Whereas DreamWorks, really outside of like the Shrek movies and How to Train Your Dragon, have never like really had like a consistency to their filmmaking style. I guess Kung Fu Panda as well is pretty well liked amongst people, but they kind of like hit and miss, and they kind of are always searching for that perfect level of.
But they have a market where they're going for.
Yeah.
And this doesn't. Seems as the lunacy hopefully will be the enticement for everybody to enjoy, and try to keep it a little bit of a PG rating and dance on that a little bit till hopefully the kids can enjoy. There's something that it commits. But I think if you're 5 years old or something, it's boring.
I wonder how I would feel about it, because I didn't initially. I was like, okay, when I saw it, and I was 17.
And the kids were just like, it's okay, yeah, who cares?
Yeah, and I think here's kind of my tiers of animation that I'll give to you all here. Is there's animation like the high tier level of animation or family animation, where it's like the kids get something enjoyable out of it, but the adults have just as much fun. That's a large number.
That's why I hired Chichi trying to do voiceover, because
exactly. But that's why you get that high tier is like where I would be totally fine popping this movie in every time my kid's addicted to it, and making them watch it. And then of course you have like the lowest tier, which is just no one's having fun watching it, which does happen as well. But then you get the middle tier, which I think B movie falls into, where it's like it's kind of so lossless in there that I don't want to watch it. But it's not a great movie, and I don't think I would like, it's like, I'll take it if that's what's on TV,
Right. I think it's one of those that it's fun to have a discussion and discourse and talk about like we're doing here, but it maybe is that scene seems a little bit labored to watch, and then you're constantly like, what the hell am I watching the entire time? Yeah. What the hell is this? Which I wish Jerry would say, what the hell is this?
What's the deal with our story? But we also have we have Simon J. Smith, Steve Hickner, who both worked on like Penguins of Madagascar.
So you have an experience.
They've got kind of background in short films for DreamWorks Animation, but then also like a few features here and there.
I just imagine the phone call after Jerry Seinfeld and Spielberg had to talk about we should do a B movie and stuff, and then Jerry's like, I'm doing it. Give me your animators. And
well, never forget too that like Jerry went all in on this movie, not only being in the trailers, but this film premiered at Cannes, and there's footage of this you can find on YouTube. He got in a bee costume and he flew down from a tower to the entrance to Cannes in a bee suit to celebrate this movie coming out, which I didn't think anything could be crazier than the fact that Fast and Furious 9.
The only thing I can think of crazier is Borat going to Cannes in his swimsuit.
That's true. So that's our trilogy of weirdness at Cannes. We have B movie, Borat, and then Fast and Furious 9 opening Cannes this year, which is just beyond me.
But I can just see, I'm doing it. Who's your directors at DreamWorks? I'm doing it, man.
Yeah, and the thing is, I couldn't say no to him either, though. Right. If I was a fan of Seinfeld, especially less than 10 years after the show ended, I would probably go with it too. Lastly, though, there's one thing I want to say, and that is Renee Zellweger, this was not the right role for her.
No. It took a long time.
Nothing that she did was good in this movie. And I just think that she just didn't have a handle of the animation and the comedy elements of it. She just doesn't. She's never been a funny person.
Like I said, Jerry's gonna be flat.
Yeah.
You need what he needs Elaine.
Yep.
He needs the dynamic punch of being out there. He needs
Yep.
somebody to do that. To
Jerry's at his best when he's the straight man, and that's why when he wrote for Seinfeld, he always wrote himself with less to do, and he would give more to the other people. The thing is, anything he tosses at Vanessa doesn't really land, because the only comedy she does really well is she did great with Bridget Jones. But like in this film, she's kind of playing the straight man
to Jerry's straight man.
Yeah, to a straight man, and it's kind of that back and forth just doesn't really work, and it's unfortunate because he's interested in dating a human, so like there should be a lot to mine there.
You can find it on YouTube. Spike Franklin also had a late night show that was kind of hit and miss. Sometimes it really was funny, and sometimes it really wasn't. But it lasted for about 3 years. And then canceled. So check that out. He's another one of the writers of Seinfeld. He actually wrote the script for Soup Nazi. That's how he got famous. He wrote the script for Soup Nazi, and then he got into continuing to be a writer for Seinfeld. But yeah, his TV show is all right. Have you seen B-Movie?
Yes. And is it your favorite B-movie, or are there other B-movies that you like more than B-Movie? Read into that how you will. But for now, let us know in the comments section where B-Movie ranks in your top B-movies of all time. And we'll try to decipher what you're going to say.
I think if you're in an altered state, I think it's much more enjoyable to watch.
All right, let us know down in the comments below your thoughts on the film. Do you think this was an interesting thing too? Because of the popularity of 2016, it coming back to YouTube, people actually DreamWorks did kind of have like a will they, won't they pursue a sequel. Would you watch a B-movie too with Jerry Seinfeld returning? I actually would be kind of interested to see after the mileage of the first
It'd
film.
probably be like a Caddyshack Part 2.
Or it could be like a 22 Jump Street that like makes fun of itself to the point where you're able to laugh along with them.
Hey,
I don't know.
There you go. We gotta go. If B-Movie, if then Barry flies into Seinfeld's apartment, and then he actually sees the real people, and he sees Jerry.
See, I thought they should have just made B-Movie Seinfeld, but with bees.
And then Kramer's selling the honey illegally.
$1 million idea. What you do is
you
cross over those worlds, maybe throw a little Curb Your Enthusiasm in there, and I think we could have something down. Yeah, we're definitely available for consultation. But let us know in the comments below what you thought of this film. And don't forget, guys, like, subscribe. Check out that Patreon, tiers as low as $1. And if you can't afford the Patreon on that kind of a level, just share the video. It's so helpful to get us out there and get that conversation going. Help support the channel. We do really appreciate it. And once again, everybody, my name is Kyle Goethe, and you can find all my film reviews on goatfilmreviews.com.
I'm Nick, and go catch some pollen.
Yeah.